what's going on, YouTube? It's your girl, Chrissy, with another episode of Cipher Knowledge with Chrissy. Thank you for joining me this evening. Special night. I just had to get my guest on, so I made the time, the day, everything available for him. Because
Nice.
I think that the work that he does is amazing and needs to be highlighted and
Thank you.
discussed. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
What's up, everybody? As you can see, I don't know if they can see it, but it says I'm Tyquan Griffin, Ty for short. Um, I work with people with autism or just developmental disabilities in general. I'm working on, I have my master's degree in psychology and APA specialization. ABA is applied behavior analysis, just in case you don't know. And then I'm working on becoming a board certified behavior analysis now, which is a licensure. So I could work in the school systems, things like that. I still got I just started in like November, but you know, it's something that I'm working towards, and it'll be good for me, for my business, and for just to be out there and helping people.
Listen,
So,
I mean, that is an accomplishment. I
yeah,
say all the time, you are the image and the model that we need our young brothers to see. So that
thank
is
you, thank you,
amazing. Yes.
thank
So
you,
congratulations to that. I
thank you.
always start the show off by asking everyone what inspired them to do whatever it was, particularly based on the show. So what inspired you to work with this specialized population? Like, when did you know? How did all that all happen? Talk to us. Let us know.
All right, cool. So I never thought this is what I would be doing ever. But like things happen. So I started working in the field probably around like 19, and I still wasn't like this is my end all be all type thing. And then my friend Mike Sabino got me a job at this one house, and I loved what I was doing. Now I'm in school, going for psychology and stuff like that, and it's starting to feel right. Um, a couple years down the line, I get asked to become a behaviorist now. I have a bachelor's degree at this point, but I'm like, all right, cool. I do know a couple of things about, behaviors and things like that. So I'm going, to try this, and I ended up liking it. So I went back to school, and I never thought about doing the business. My business partner actually came up to me one day when I was out with the guys that I worked with, and was like, she looked around and she was like, we could do this. We could put our own thing together. And I'm not the type of person to say that to, because something sparks here. If something sparks here, it's gonna get done. You know what I mean? Like if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm the type of person to chase it and go do it. Like always been that way. That's how I was raised. So I looked at her and I was like, we can. And she looked at me like, what? I said, nah. You know what? Hold that thought. But then like a couple of weeks later, I came up to her like, were you serious? Do you want to do this? And she was like, do you really think? I'm like, yeah. Like, oh man, we got this. So I went, filed the paperwork, and within a year's time, we got everything done. And we opened up the day program, Developmental Disability Awareness with Love is what it's called, DAO for short. We opened that in April of 2018. So, but to tell you, like, to be honest, like, I believe in a higher power, and I always tell people like this wasn't what I was going for, but I couldn't escape it. Like it's just what I was meant to do. Honestly, like it's just what I was meant to do. I never thought of being an owner for a day program for people with developmental disabilities. I never even pictured myself working with people with disabilities, and now here I am, like on the verge of becoming a BCBA, and I'm owning the part owner in a business, and like just doing wrote a book, like just doing all of these things that have to do with autism and developmental disabilities. And I can't say I don't. I love my job, and I love what I
Bro,
do.
I got goosebumps. You can't see it, but I got goosebumps because like you're speaking to me. So I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you're speaking to me because I'm a hospice nurse. And
Okay.
when I went to nursing school, I said that I wanted to do the emergency room. I wanted to be in
Mhm.
trauma. I wanted to be,
Mhm.
yeah, the Lord was like, no, sorry, sis. We putting you in
Yeah,
hospice.
man.
And
Great.
so it be.
And that's what it is. Cause like, if you look like behind me, like honestly, my passion other than that is music.
I know that. You're an independent
Yeah.
artist. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I sing and I rap and I make instrumentals and stuff. And, that's where, I thought I was obviously was going to be. I like to act. I like just to entertain. Like, it's fun for me. It's honestly like an outer body experience. Like when I'm in the studio or when I'm doing something, like I'm not there. You just see me like this and I'm just like vibing. But nothing, and I met plenty of people and nobody ever said like that my music was horrible, but nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened. And to me it was because God was like, this isn't like, all right, after you do what I'm asking you to do, then maybe we can do something, because I'm still, I'm working on music right now, and I have a bunch of unreleased music that, if I could just put the backing behind it, something could happen. But I think this was supposed to happen first. So now that I feel like I'm fulfilling my my duties and doing what I was called,
maybe you
yeah,
can move on.
yeah, maybe
So
I could multitask and do both
yeah,
or something.
yeah. Where we were just talking about that, where the same astrological sign, and
Yeah, yep.
listen, I know that because I got like 10 hats on. Just nobody ever sees the 10 different hats. So we
Hmm.
make it happen when we want it to happen. That's how this
That's
podcast started.
for
It
real.
happened in 2 days later, boom, it was together. Like
Boom, there it goes.
don't come to me with a not exactly. So I want to get to the book, but since you brought it up, tell us what your day program is about.
Okay, so the day program is where people with developmental disabilities go after high school. It's usually 21 and over. They usually are allowed to stay in high school till they're around 21, and then after 21, they start to look for, well, not everybody per se, but they start to look for day programs. And my day program is mainly about, um, well, we used to be more so of a, excuse me, like going into the community type of situation, but right now we can't do that. But
Right.
I always tell parents that we don't force people to do what they don't want to do. If you go to like a lot of other programs, like they're kind of forced to do things that they like, even like an art project, like they don't want to do the art project, but they're forced to do the art project, or
Mhm.
go somewhere, like go out during the day, like they're forced to go out if they don't want to go out. We want them to enjoy their life. Like they don't want them to have to wake up in the morning and be like, yo, I
Yeah.
don't want to go to program because they're gonna make me do something that I don't want to do, or things on that line. We mainly just try to show them a good time, because it's like, you deserve that. You deserve to come here. You deserve to have a good time. You deserve to um, be around people who you are comfortable with and who you like to be around, because honestly, it's good to see. Like, you have to be to witness it, because nobody thinks that they are social and like they don't like to be around, but when they're around each other, it's a whole different situation. You know what I mean? Like, you'll see even people who are nonverbal, so it means people who don't talk, will sit with the other people and they'll just be like vibing, even if they're not talking. They're just sitting next to each other, just vibing. It's like a whole. It's great. It's so awesome.
And
Um,
we're gonna get into like the misconceptions and things like that. But now I want to
okay.
touch on your book.
Mhm.
So when did you decide you needed to write Billy Has Autism? There you go, but that's right. Come on. I ain't even gotta tell you how to do it. So
it
where did
was
yeah.
it was before the pandemic, actually. I was talking to my boy Mike. I was talking to Mike, and I was like, "Yo, I think I'm gonna write a book." And he was like, "Oh, word? Yeah, I'm gonna write a book and do some T-shirts, blah 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 blah." And I was. It wasn't. I'm trying, because it really wasn't like a long process. Like, I literally thought about it, and then I started to draw, because I did the illustrations too. So I started to draw the illustrations, and I was like, all right, I kind of let it go for a while. And then COVID came, knocked everybody out. We was home. I was like, all right, hey, let's. I'm not gonna say. I'm not the type of person to just let time be wasted. Like I got time. I'm gonna be home, even though certain situations are looking crazy right now. I'm about to sit down and I'm gonna do this book. So I have two kids. They're 15 months apart.
Oh, God
So I
bless
would do it. Yeah. Ooh, tell me about it. One just went to bed just now. You won't hear the footsteps. He just went to bed. Took to bed at 8 o'clock. But like in between like nap time when they would take naps or like after they would go to bed, I would kind of be just drawing. Or if they were occupied and like doing something, and I because I'm here with my wife also, so we're together in the room or whatever. If I knew that they were occupied and she was with them or something, I would kind of whip out the book. And then like before I knew it, like I had the because what I did was I honestly I looked it up like how to go about writing a book, and it told you to do stages. So I had the first stage done before I knew it, and that was just kind of setting up how I wanted everything to look in like little squares. Like, all right, cool. So then I made the big version of it. The biggest challenge was how do I get it from this paper to the computer so that I could do this? Because I've never done that before. I've never wrote. I don't know. So I actually did a lot of research. I found a graphic design site. I'm not a graphic designer by any, but I made it happen though.
Listen, that's right. You made it happen. So what is Billy Has Autism about? What can we find in the book?
This is general. I'm gonna do a series. I am gonna do a series.
Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna do a series because there's so much to touch on that people just don't understand. But and this one is just a general introduction to somebody who might have autism. Who has autism for someone who might not know about a situation because like for one instance, in the book, there's a part where Billy's at the mall and he's having a behavior, and you'll see people pulling out their phones and oh my God, I'm gonna call the police and blah blah blah, not knowing that because you're doing this and you're giving this guy attention and he's angry or whatever, you're fueling the fire. Like you don't even understand what you're doing. You're taking pictures of me and you're calling the police when I'm trying to help this person, and all you're gonna do is make them more anxious and make the behavior 30 times worse than it is now, because not only are you taking pictures and you're loud and you're doing whatever, but you're going to call the police. And you don't know how this person is going to react when the police come. Because if they've had something to do with the police in the past, that might make them even more anxious. So honestly, it's just an introduction to, it talks about emotions. It talks about what one person with autism might do during the day. It talks about how, people live at home and in a group home and like that situation. It's 27 pages. It's around 27 pages. And I made it a children's book because it's good for children to know about their fellow classmates who might have autism. But I wanted it to be an easy read for adults too. Because you could be an adult and go in here and just understand everything that's going on and see a situation now in the mall and be like, oh, wow, okay, let me just keep moving. All right. Or wherever you are. Because a lot more times than none, not in all cases, but if somebody's in the middle of an aisle screaming, they or they have headphones on or something like that, and you don't know why, it's probably because they have autism and it's hard for them to be out in the community like that with it's a bunch of stuff going on. The way things move for them is different than how it moves for us. So,
And I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to, well, first let's define what autism is. Just like kind of in the simplest terms that we can. If someone who doesn't know what autism is, how would you explain it to them?
And that's I saw that, and I'm thinking the only thing that I've ever seen about like defining or definition is that it's an extra chromosome, honestly. It's an extra chromosome. I've never tried to look up the definition other than that, because for me, I'm just more so here to help. Like I don't really, I'm not really interested in the definition of it, because that's neither here nor there for me. Regardless, I'm just here to help. And like I said, the most I've ever seen was that it's an extra chromosome. You know what I mean? Like,
but as from you working with them, would you say that there is sometimes an emotional disconnect, maybe sometimes a
yeah,
social
definitely. Yeah,
disconnect,
yeah,
and
yeah,
even
definitely.
sometimes a learning disconnect?
Definitely,
So
definitely, definitely, definitely.
and it doesn't mean that, because autism is a spectrum, right?
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah,
mean
yeah.
that you are defined by any, like that you have all three of them, or it could be one of them
Yeah,
or
yeah,
two of
yeah,
them,
yeah.
or so it's just a mixture of some type of deficit within that process of thinking. And that's why, like you were saying, somebody with headphones, they may not be able to process loud noises. That may be a trigger for them that
Yep.
will get them anxious and restless.
Yeah, yep.
And that's why they have to have headphones on. That may
Have
be
the
one of their
headphones.
triggers.
Yeah.
Some are
Mhm.
tactile. Some are, if
Yep.
they touch something, that's a
Yeah.
trigger for them.
Sensory.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep.
sensory.
Mhm.
Others are, or nasal, so like through
Yeah, yeah.
smell or vision.
Mhm.
So it's different. It's
Mhm.
everything. It's our senses. So
Yeah, yep.
and
It's just
even,
that
yeah,
they
even
might have.
hugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Definitely. Definitely. It's just that, like you said, they might focus in on one thing more than the other. Like, I've
Yeah.
seen people, who can recite a whole like book for you without even reading the book. Have you ever seen, they have people on Facebook, like there's a one guy who drew like all of Manhattan from memory, and he was
Mm-hmm.
autistic. Like, they got a bunch of, like, you know what I mean? So it's different. It's different things. It depends on your tier level, because we have low functioning who probably could, low functioning people is what, the lower functioning class, and they're more so the people who probably like don't talk and don't really do the eye contact thing, and can't really express too much, and things of that nature. Then you have like the higher functioning people who can tolerate hugs, who can look you in the eye sometimes, who can, again, actually go out, get jobs. You know what I mean? That's like you were talking about earlier, that's like Asperger's, like higher functioning, like Asperger's. Like, you can go out, get a job, you go to school, go to college, do whatever, and still have autism. So, like, there's definitely different tiers and things of that nature. So,
Yeah. So what
yeah.
are some misconceptions that you think is out there about people on the spectrum, or just disabled,
Mm.
developmentally disabled um, population in general? Some of the I have a couple of misconceptions, but I want to kind of see if you hit them first, and then I'll jump on board.
Let me see. One misconception is that, again, the eye contact thing. Um, again, there are some people who don't, but that's not everybody. Some people will look you right in your eye and talk to you and everything like that. There's the other one is touch. A lot of people don't think that people with autism like to hug and things like that, but that's, again, untrue. They might even actually appreciate that. You know what I mean? Love it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, give me some of yours. Let's go
So
through.
mine is like, and I was telling you earlier, behind the scenes is before I really uh, came to like, because you'll hear a lot of the older generation, mainly the
Hmm.
baby boomers, saying, "We never had autism in our day and age. That's just some
Hmm.
bullshit. Like, it's
Yeah,
made up
yeah,
and whatever. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't. They just give them a good ass whooping, and they'll listen."
Hmm.
Right. So
Yeah. Hmm.
that's one of the misconceptions where
Yeah.
I think, the first episode of season 2, I had my mom and my daughter come on, and we did a
That's all. Yeah.
generation. Yeah, we did a
That's
generational
cool.
thing where we saw, my mom's a baby boomer.
Yeah.
I believe I'm 78, so like a Gen X, right? I think.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
my daughter's, I think, Z is whatever.
Z, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, she's 93. Um
Okay.
So, one of the things we were talking about is that whole discipline thing, right?
Hmm.
That everybody just got their ass whooped when I was a kid. Like, it didn't
Yeah,
matter.
me too.
It just got done. You just did it. That was
Yeah.
it.
Nah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as we started growing, and I say progressing,
Mhm.
psychologically and like just learning different things, I think we started to start allowing the kids to become more in tune with their feelings
Mhm.
and their emotions,
Yeah.
and allow them to actually, like, I was, children are seen, not heard. You
Mhm.
don't speak what
Yeah.
you think. Like, you
Yeah.
stay quiet, you stay in the background. I don't care about your opinion. I don't need to
Stay in a
respect you. I
child's
gave
place.
birth to you. Right. All of that.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's how I grew up. And I
Mhm.
think that generation has a hard time understanding that there are deficits. And
Mhm.
though a lot of those things, like if you think back, there were probably children with autism and you just define them as difficult.
Yeah, that's true. Cause I mean, even back then, like, they might even like just. I know, like for me, I was mad energetic. They tried to put me on Ritalin, and my mom was like, "Nah, you bugging." Yeah, exactly. And I thank her for that, because who knows if that would have happened, where my mind would have been, you know. But I agree with you. They definitely handle things differently. That yeah, I agree with you there. That's definitely a thing. I agree.
So how can we talk to our children
Hmm.
or even other adults to get them to understand that this is a real thing? Like, where do you think, like, what is that first line of communication for
Hmm.
someone who's so, especially family too, right? So
Hmm.
my son, he hasn't been defined in any spectrum, but definitely has a different way of being. He's very an emotional child. I do have him in counseling.
Hmm.
He needs it, but my father is very, no, he's not crazy. He doesn't need therapy.
Yeah.
He doesn't, kind of
Well,
mindset. So how do we approach
therapy.
family?
That's difficult, especially in the black community. You know how that goes. That's it's frowned upon.
Hmm.
And I think it's actually super healthy, and it's actually a great thing, because we need to go somewhere where we can actually talk and let that out. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I think that's super important. Um, if if when it comes to family, I mean, it would depend on, like for you, it has to be done.
Hmm.
It has to be done, because in the future that's gonna help your son grow, and that's what he needs. Even though your dad is not for it and he's old school, you know, again, I can't. Therapy is super important. Oh my goodness, and I know, because like even I've done it. You know what I mean? I've done it, and
Yeah.
it's helped me, because obviously I grew up a couple years after you. I'm right there in the same situation, but some of the views that I have, I know are like messed up, but I can't take my, you know what I mean? Like that's how I was raised.
That's,
Like this,
yeah.
that's,
Hmm.
like for instance, I'm real bad with receiving help. I don't need help. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. I will go out. I will work 10 jobs. I don't need help. Sometimes I need help.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Sometimes, but
know.
but the way I was raised, and just the way I saw my mom grind and go and do, you know what I mean, work all of these jobs, and you know do it like that. I just never, you know what I mean. I don't. I'm not a very um. I'm not the type of person who will ask for help, but I'll be there to help. But I'm not the type of person who's gonna ask for help. And I like one thing that therapy was teaching me too. I have a fear of people throwing things back in my face. Like
Oh
if
my
I allow
God.
you.
Like, I feel like you're a duplicate copy of me. Yes.
I don't. I think I've had that happen to me like once or twice, and like that's something that I don't like to feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to ask you for nothing, because you're not gonna throw it in my face later. Like you get like
Yeah.
one chance. You get like one chance. I might allow you to help me like once. And the one time I hear you throw it in my face, I'm done.
It's all
And
right.
I can't
Yeah.
help it. I can't. It's just like you, oh word, because you know what I mean. Because on some real stuff, I help out a lot of people, and I'm not going to throw it in your face. We might, sometimes you need a reminder. A reminding somebody of something and throwing something in their face is two completely different things.
I like it worded like that because that's how I'm going to get it next time.
I'm telling you, reminding somebody of something and throwing it in their face is two different things. You know what I mean? And I'm just, that is just something that burns in me. And
Yeah.
I will go out and I will work. I'll be tired, but at the end of the day, knowing I did it myself, that's just that
Ah,
just satisfies me. 100% satisfies me. But I really do, you know, going to therapy and stuff like that. You know, getting to the nitty gritty of the issue and things like that. I think it's important because I know sometimes I need help, and it's hard. It's still hard for me to accept it, but I'm a little bit quieter about it now, and I'll kind of just go to the side and just
yeah.
like, all right, let me just be quiet.
Yeah.
It's cool. Thank you. Thank you. You know what I mean?
So I don't. So children that are on the spectrum, do you think that counseling is good for them as
Yeah.
part of their regimented program?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know some people who do take therapy. They take medication. They go to therapy, and it could definitely help. It can definitely help, depending on what tier they are. Also, like depending on how high functioning they are. Excuse me, because if you have a low functioning person who really doesn't understand it, it's really
And
not
it's
probably
not
not.
gonna
Yeah, it's probably
you're not
not
gonna
worth
get
it.
something from it.
But there are some people who will understand, and it can help them get their emotions in order a little bit. Because with the medication and with the therapy, all of it working together. Just because they're autistic, they're people. They're
Right.
people, right? They're people. They have emotions.
Yes.
They have the problem. The only problem is they don't know how to express it like how you and I do. So if they go to therapy, that's
Listen,
one
people
way.
who aren't autistic still don't know how to express it
Word.
sometimes, okay?
Exactly.
So
Very true. Very true.
so
I
we don't
agree.
even have to define it
100%.
like that. So
Exactly.
as a behaviorist, right? Because I don't know that a lot of people know what that is. I know what that is only because I've had to experience working with the one for one of
Okay.
my children.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it wasn't a spectrum thing, it was
Yeah,
it was a
no,
behavioral
it's
thing.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more than just for the
Yeah.
for people with developmental disabilities too.
So
Yeah.
what does a behaviorist do? What sense? Because I don't think a lot of people know what that is.
Okay, so I mean, it's as simple as saying we monitor behaviors, and our thing is to change the unwanted behavior. So, for instance, Billy doesn't do this in the book, but let's say Billy walks out of that, he elopes. Billy just runs, he leaves. At it, whenever it doesn't even matter. If you're walking, Billy just takes off. The behaviorist's job is to come in and to figure out first off why Billy elopes and just takes off, like what's causing that, and to see how we can stop it from happening. So they would come in, probably just monitor Billy, even take him. And the hardest thing is you have to make the issue happen. So I'm gonna take Billy in the community, and I'm gonna hope Billy runs because I need to see when, why, where. You know what I mean? Like,
What triggered it?
yeah, I need to experience this for myself. Like I have a story. This one kid that I worked with, they told me not to let him watch Thomas the Train because he goes off. He goes off. And I looked at them and I was like, all right, cool. I'm making him watch Thomas
Tommy
the
the
Train. As soon as he
train.
walks, as soon as he walks in his door, we watching Thomas the Train. And I saw why he can't watch Thomas the Train firsthand. So I was like, all right, okay, cool. No Thomas the Train. We're not gonna watch Thomas because it's really for that situation. It's really nothing for me to figure out. Like I don't need to change anything. He just can't watch Thomas the Train because he gets too excited and he overdoes things. And after, you better not turn Thomas the Train off because it's going down. Like right
Okay.
then and there, he's turning around, looking at you, and he's coming right after you. So
Okay.
let's just eliminate Thomas the Train. You eliminate Thomas the Train, you eliminate the behavior with that one. So the behaviorist's job is essentially just to come in, monitor, look at the behavior, and change the unwanted behavior, and maybe put in, a positive behavior instead of the unwanted behavior.
Okay. So
So that's the
it's
gist of
very
it.
similar to anger management, right? And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
basically, so for people out there, I know more people know about anger management
yeah.
than
Yeah,
they know
exactly.
about behaviorists, but they always teach you, and you got your friend over here. So
Dion, what up?
So they teach you. Oh, by the way, since I got some of Ty's people on, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I do different shows all the time. Hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button.
You put your book up there. I'm like, hit subscribe.
All right. Yes. We here. Subscribe, everybody.
But like what they teach you, because as you as an adult, or even a young adult, they teach you to look for physiological changes right before you get that anger, right? Like, do you start getting hot? Do you start to get a headache? What are the physiological changes that occur? Right,
exactly,
shaking your leg, going and drinking, whatever. There's some tapping your hand. There's always some physiological change that occurs right before you get that burst of anger. And then when you feel that pressure rising, to cut it off when it's a 5 before it gets to a 10. So me and my son, we trigger each other. And one of the things we decided was that when one of us felt like we were escalating during an argument, we would just throw out the word spumoni.
Oh, that's good. You got the that's good. I like that. That's cool.
So we just yell out some crazy words, spumoni, and then you're like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? But it gets you to stop in your tracks, right? Yep. And think about what's going on at that moment. Like, okay, we're both triggered, and let's de-escalate the situation.
Yeah, let's go this way. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's dope. That's super.
Not
smart.
that shit happen all the time, though. I tell you right now. We were both at 10 before you even knew it. There was no spumoni happening.
In the middle of the 10, it's like spumoni.
But it's too late to walk away at this point.
It's too late now. Yeah.
So that's kind of what a behaviorist does, though. It's for them it's for your job to find those triggers and then implement something for someone else to initiate when that trigger occurs. Because that person can't, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like when you're doing stuff like that, you are hoping to figure it out and then teach whomever is around the person. So like I might go into the school system and, teach the teacher how to deal with Billy or Billy's group home people or even like Billy's parents or whomever, you know what I mean? So that we're all on the same page. So it's like a team of people. It's like it's really like an IEP or like a IDT team. It's like exactly. It's like a team of people who get together and, we'll talk about like why he does it and what we can do to lessen it. But everybody has to be on board. That's
so. And I was gonna ask you that because you can have an IEP all you want, right? And that's an individualized educational plan, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? So that someone who has an IEP is someone who has some learning deficit, or not even. There could be so my son was a type 1. My son is a type 1 diabetic, and we had an IEP for him because he required longer testing time because if his blood sugars would increase during his testing, his concentration wasn't there because of the increased sugar in his blood, and he would be allowed to step out, check his sugar, get some water, have the blood sugar come down, and then retest. Like he didn't have to. So it doesn't always mean that there is some developmental delay in the child.
Nah.
But there's just
the difference is the IEP is more of a high school. Once you get out, we call it an ISP.
Okay.
And it's the same thing except the middle is like specialization or something like that. You know what I mean? Like honestly, I don't know what the acronym is for, but we call it an ISP instead of the IEP once they get out of high school. Yeah.
That's why the E, I believe, is the educational because they have that from elementary. I mean, you definitely have it from elementary school. So what I was going to get to was the fact that some schools you can have an IEP all you want. It doesn't mean you're following it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
That your child is getting what they need. Sometimes the kid needs a one-on-one. Right. So that's an aid that's going to be there to assist them during. So because a lot of developmentally disabled children are actually in my county that I'm at, they're integrated with the regular classroom. They're, you know, they're not segregated, which I don't think by any means they should. There should be no segregation, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
teach one to each one, right? But
Yeah.
how can I teach my child, you know, or can someone teach their younger child how to embrace someone that may be a little different? We're the same, but there's just some characteristics that are different.
Mm-hmm.
How do we teach our children to embrace that? Is it okay to ask questions? Is it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, what do we do?
I mean, to be honest, I would just first I would buy Billy Has Autism.
There you go.
No, but really, nah, seriously though, it's just like they don't want to be treated differently. Honestly, like treat them like how you would treat your friend. Like, you know, if you have a question, ask a question. Like it's not really, it's more rude to stare than to ask. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to just be like what, and you could go up to
Yeah.
them like, is everything okay? You know, like, you know, befriend them, you know, don't, you know, to be honest, I would tell your kids and stuff to just be nice. Like we need people to be nice to us. Imagine what they're going through when they, you know, they're going through school and they got their things going on and everybody's staring at them and probably being mean because they're different, and you know, because it's not apparently sometimes it's not cool to be different, you know what I mean? So everybody has to follow the crowd, but they don't really know how to follow the crowd. Like it is what it is. So
Listen, I
just
was
to,
always the
like you
odd
said,
man out.
me too, me too. No, I just didn't care. Like
Mm-mm.
whatever, you can say what you want as long as you don't touch me, we good. But but tell them to embrace them, like you said. Don't go up to them and actually hug them, but you can, like, have them fit in with you and stuff like that. You know, let them just be them and be comfortable with them being who they are. That's it. You know, honestly.
And I think the other part I would add to that is
Hmm.
don't be like, hey, look, Billy has autism. Let's
Yeah,
treat him
word,
like us
word.
be friend. Like that
Hmm.
doesn't define him, right? That's not all
At
Billy
all,
is.
at all.
Billy is a boy,
Hmm.
a young
Yeah,
boy, who just
that's why I
wants,
say he wants to be
yeah.
treated like a normal person because he is a normal person. That's what, you know.
Mhm.
Treat me how you treat anybody else. You know.
I gotta say, you know, my middle one is a pain in the ass. He's 20 now. Um,
Okay.
but you know, like I said, in the county where I'm at, everybody's integrated, even the handicapped, you know, children and
Hmm.
all that. There's because it's a small, I'm in Warren County, so it's a
Okay.
small
Okay.
little school. There's 2 classes for every
Hmm.
grade with 12 kids in them. Like it's not like it's one floor of the building. It's tiny, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody's with everybody. It's a small town. And my middle one, I gotta give it to him. And I've always told him this. He does so well with children, but
Hmm.
even more so with children with disabilities.
Okay.
He is amazing with them. And I'm like, this is your niche. This is your thing.
It's natural for him,
Yeah,
huh?
it
Yeah.
is. I
Yeah.
mean, you would see him like when they had like the school plays and the things like that, or the winter events and stuff like that. My son was always the one designated to help the handicapped kids get on stage.
Hmm.
Like, and then we would be out somewhere and they'd be like, "Hey, Elijah," and I'm like,
That's
"Oh,
great.
you know him?" And he's like, "Yeah, hey, what's up?" Like, you know,
Yeah.
and
See,
he's
that's cool. Tell him to
yeah,
pursue it because by you mentioning that, I start to think about. I always befriended the kids like that. You know what I mean? I did, and I never saw them differently or anything like that. I just was friends with them like at all times. Like I was cool with everybody, but that's awesome. Tell him to maybe to look into like
I've
start off
told
getting like
him
a
like, "Come
job
on."
because it's yeah for real because it takes a special person. It takes a
Yeah.
special person. It definitely does.
He's
That's
I mean,
cool. Like
he's
I
not
said, you
wrapped
just
too
triggered
tight,
something.
but good, yeah. He's not. He got a little bit of his issues, but I think that's why he
Mm.
feels, you know, at place like he's not judged, right? So he doesn't
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
judged, and
yeah.
he doesn't judge them. But I've always seen that, like he just, and then even just kids, period. Um,
Hmm.
it's like they light up when he's around. Absolutely. So Zia says Ty was the man with my special needs kids.
That was my guy. That was my. I know who you talking about too. That was my dude. That was my dude.
I think, yeah. I worked with, being a nurse, before I went to hospice. I did bedside nursing, I did home care nursing, and I worked with fragile children. So children with, that were either at end of life or weren't going to live a very long life. And I had this one kid. I'm not sure if you know what Dravet syndrome is. It is epilepsy, but of a different type. It's an extra chromosome. But he was also autistic. And his thing. So I, when you were talking about being a behaviorist and what it exactly entails, I was like, oh shit, I was kind of a behaviorist too. Like at a nurse. Because I knew, and because when you said Thomas the Train, his thing was when I couldn't get him to calm down, Barney. I would put Barney on. Like his thing was Barney. And I could get him to calm down and just get him to where he needed. And he did love the hugs. His head always landed on my breast, but
he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was
doing. But definitely, it's a lot. And I remember I invited them to my youngest son's birthday party. So my son was turning 5. And this child that I was taking care of must have been maybe, I want to say 13, but he was minimally verbal. You would have to take the nonverbal cues to understand what he wanted, certain words he would say. But I invited him to the birthday party, and it was at this big bouncy house thing. And she actually got really emotional. She was like, I can't believe you invited him. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I invite him? She was, well, he can't, like certain things, like he can't jump in there. Yeah. Well, no, he could jump in and stuff, but like he gets excited and then he's overstimulated and then he's all over the place. And she was worrying about what the other parents would say. Like, what are the other parents going to say? And I was like, I don't give a fuck what the other parents say.
Dude, like, word, no, 100%. Like, you really can't. And that's something like that would hinder him from growing. Like, you can't. And a lot of, that's the thing. And it's easier said than done, I understand. But a lot of parents are worried about that. A lot of parents are worried about what somebody's going to say if they go out and their kid starts having a behavior in the middle of the store. So, they kind of just keep them home or things like that. Or a lot of parents are, when we're talking behaviors, there's a lot of parents are also scared of their kids too. So they'll give them anything they want. And then, that doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't help at all. So I'm with you 100%. Like you can't be timid in that situation. You got to be an advocate for your kid. You have to advocate for your kid. Like,
well, she was an amazing advocate for her child. I won't even take that away from her. Definitely did some amazing things to get him. His life expectancy was supposed to, I believe, be like 14, 15. I believe he's like going to be 22 now.
Nice. Now, I like that. Nice.
Yeah. So cool. Definitely she's done a lot of work with making sure. She's a nurse as well, so she was doing a lot of work with him. But I didn't care. And then I also told her, I said, the kind of people that I hang out with isn't going to care what your kid does.
Yeah, exactly.
People I hang out with. Yeah, like if they got something to say, then they're not really my friends.
Exactly. So, and I'm gonna let them know about it too. I wish somebody would.
I'm definitely going to say something. So let's say, and just I guess it's going to be different for every individual, but. What if we do see, as someone on the outside looking in, sees a mom in the store with her child, and you see that she's kind of lost and frazzled? Do you recommend that we ask and offer if we can help in any way, or should we mind our business to keep moving?
I don't, because you might make the situation 30 times worse. Honestly, it really depends on the situation. But I think the best thing is, if she needs help, she's going to ask, or I'm sure she has a plan already to call somebody or, but a complete stranger walking up to her and being like, listen, there's times where if the kid runs away and you kind of like grab to help and you grab the kid from running in the street or something, of course, don't let, if you see somebody,
don't be like, oh, bye.
Yeah, don't let, I better not do anything. Because I don't know. Nah. If you see like bodily harm or anything like that, please help. You know what I mean? Help out. But if it's a situation where, mom is in the store and the kid is screaming and having a meltdown or something, you might just want to let that one blow by and just let her do what she do. Because you interfering in that might make things worse. But again, if you see, harm coming to anybody, you might want to jump in and help. Just try to be as mindful and, as safe and I guess not so the least aggressive you can be with the situation.
Yeah, because because we don't even know, right? We don't know what's going on. It could just be a brat of a kid.
Exactly.
It could be.
Exactly. Because they're out there. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody who has a meltdown in the middle of the store has autism. Oh, nah, not even. No.
There is
I can't even
kids.
say I had meltdowns when I was growing up in the middle. So you're not gonna give me this toy, but then I got the you forget your little I'm gonna go. We out. I'm sorry.
Listen,
all my mom had to do was do the little growl, and I'm gonna stand up. We gonna go.
Talking through the teeth, like your lips ain't moving. Like if you don't get your ass over here, get the fuck.
I will take you in this bathroom. Nah, ma, I don't even want the turtle. I don't want the Ninja Turtle no more. Let's go. Where are we going? I'm good.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Bathroom. I would look at my kid and be like, "You need the bathroom? You need to use the bathroom?" And they already knew what you need to use the bathroom was. Like,
I'm good. Nope. We just stay out here with everybody.
No. I mean, there's been times that I've actually left the store. Like left the cart. Let's go. Your little ass want to act like that? Let's go ahead.
Word.
And just leave it stuff. But sometimes as a mom looking at another mom, sometimes you're kind of like your heart breaks and you're like, I know what you're going through, and despite whatever it is, kind of thing. So where is your program at? Is it still running? How has COVID affected it?
We are located in Boonton, New Jersey. Listen, I call it Boonton. Everybody I know calls it Boonton. It's spelled Boonton. So some people say Boonton, but to me the N has that first N has always been silent.
Yeah, Boonton. I say Boonton.
Yeah, Boonton. That's what I'm saying. It's Boonton. It's in Boonton, New Jersey. That's what I say. I'm just saying there are some people out here who pronounce the N, and I'm like, what? Boonton? Nah, it's Boonton.
You don't belong here.
I gotta correct them. Like, nah, it's Boonton. What you mean? Nah. But we're located in Boonton, and the thing is, COVID has hit all day programs hard. The state, if I'm being honest, it just doesn't feel like they really know like what's going on. Like, I understand that keeping people home, is a safe bet, but at the same time, you're sending people who are used to having, a routine, and when they don't have that routine, either they can get aggressive, either they can digress. Some people are okay with it, but for the most part, you got parents at home getting beat up because the day program's closed. And I always just say Billy because, I just use the character, and Billy's upset that he can't go to day program and it's been this long. And now you got parents at home getting beat up. You got Billy losing, losing things that he was taught. Let's say Billy didn't want to go outside. I got Billy to walk around the parking lot. Now COVID's here. When Billy comes back, it's going to be a whole fight all over again. I'm going to have to reteach Billy how to get comfortable with getting back to the parking lot. And the parking lot was just a step. We was going to the van next to go into the community, blah, blah, blah. But now it's going to reset and start all over again. And then as far as it goes with how they are, like, it's almost like and I'm sorry, it almost feels like they don't want us to succeed, like as far as they want us to do all of this stuff, like they don't want us to furlough people, which, kind of is like, not firing, but asking them to stay home because you can't afford. They don't want you to furlough. You can't take out a PPP loan because they say you're
state funded.
Yeah, you double dipping. So you can't take out the PPP loan, but then they're not paying you enough to do anything. Like, so you want me to pay the bills that I was paying before COVID because My landlord doesn't. My landlord's actually good. He's actually a cool person. I'm just using this example.
As an example, yeah.
Other people. Like my landlord doesn't care that we have COVID. He wants his rent. The lights people, the gas people, the cable people, whomever, the internet, all of that. They don't care that it's COVID. They want their money. Like, you know what I mean? And guess what? I can't give you your money because the state is only paying me maybe a little, I don't know, maybe half or less of what I was making when we were open. So you're telling me I have to pay my full staff. And for me, I told you, we've only been in business for 2 years. This is our second year coming up now. Yeah. So we actually opened in 2019 because 2019 we started. I'm sorry, I said that wrong earlier. We've been open this will be our second year coming in March. Will be our second year. So we don't have money saved. We don't have the money backing us like saved up or anything like that. So when the state doesn't pay us, it's just like, what are we going to do next? Like, I got to keep this place open. But then they call us and they say, listen, we need you to stay open because all the people around you closed. Well, why do you think they closed? Because y'all not paying us. Like, it's terrible. You want me to stay open, but you're not going to pay me to do so. Like, so they were like, oh, we need you to make that. This was a literal conversation. He goes, we need you to make savvy business moves and blah, blah, blah. No, duh. What you think I'm trying to do? Like, oh, yeah. That was smart. Like,
nobody's trying to be savvy.
No shit, Sherlock.
Exactly. Question: are you able to get funding from anywhere else, like donations or anything that?
We can accept donations and stuff.
Okay, so you need to give me the website so I can type it up really quick. What is the website?
It's www.ddawl.com.
All right. I think I got it right. Let's see.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. Perfect. So anybody out there who is listening and wants to help Tyquan, help the community with some donations or whatever, reach out to him at the website.
This way.
We are definitely, also, don't forget to purchase Billy Has Autism as well. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit while and then I'll put it back up because I did leave it up there for a while on where to purchase the book. But I mean, I think this is so important. I think the work that you are doing is important. I think it's phenomenal.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Like, if nobody else tells you that, I appreciate you. I can tell you the parents of the children and the young adults that you work with appreciate you. You may not hear it from them, but I'm telling you.
You know what? They're pretty good about. They're actually pretty good about letting us know. Yeah. And they keep telling us, they're like, please don't close. We don't know what we're doing. I'm just like, I'm trying hard, but the state is not making it easy by keeping us closed, And the one thing I will say is that I don't think anybody from the state is watching, but I don't think blanking in everybody, because like I have a smaller day program. When they came to see my program, we had everything established where everybody was 6 feet apart, or if the higher functioning people, they had their mask on. If you didn't have a mask, you were in this section away from everybody. You had your own section. The lady came in and was like, this is great. We had the signs on the floor that said, 6 feet apart, and on the couches, it was like every other seat, like making sure, it was working really well. But because a bigger program, maybe somebody at a different program got COVID, they closed everybody down. It's just not smart. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's not smart.
The smaller you are, the least likely it's gonna.
Yeah, we can actually, divide everybody up and put them, but and another thing is it really breaks my heart because I know what the people who are at home are going through. Like, not even just the clients or the consumers, but the parents too. Like, they're itching and reaching out for them to go back to program because they don't want them to digress or they don't want them to be as aggressive as they are, and they know why they are digressing or why they are being aggressive. And it's like the state, they don't care. You know what I mean? It seems to me like they don't care. Like, they just, they want to do what they feel is right and not what's really right for everybody. It's terrible. You know what I mean? It's bad.
He said, "Let me check with my business to see what we can do. I'm a big advocate."
I
There
know,
you
D.
go.
What up, D? That's my girl right there.
That's
That's
it.
my
See,
girl.
definitely. I mean, it's definitely spreading the word, saying something. Whether you're watching live now with us right now, or
Yeah.
you watch this on the replay, the
Word.
websites are there. I think it's so important. Like if you've had the opportunity to watch any of my shows, anybody that
Yeah.
comes on, I am a big supporter. I'm like, give me all your information. Let's get it out.
Word.
Let's
Let's
spread the
get it
word.
going.
Like
Yeah.
I said it, I think the last show, I can't remember which show, but I said it, like, my heart is in so many different places.
Yeah.
Like, but you can't do that because then something's gonna fail somewhere, right?
That's true.
I
Yeah.
want to do everything with everyone. Like, I am like special needs, the mental health,
Yeah.
your heart
It
disease, lung
goes.
disease.
Yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with the dual diagnosis. Somebody might have autism with mental health issues too. I used to work at a psych ward too, and it used to break my heart when I saw people with autism come in. But because at that point I didn't realize why they were coming in, but it's actually to adjust medications, and they might live with older parents who can't when once one med goes off and they start hitting and stuff, you gotta do that to get them back on track. So
And
but
it's even after you are on a regimen that works. At sometimes
yeah,
you have to readjust and adjust the dosage because you become
yeah,
so
used to it. Yeah, you
yeah,
adjust
your
to
body
it.
adjusts to it, that you need to increase. And
Yeah,
then some of these medications are expensive, and health
mm-hmm.
insurance is ridiculous.
That's true.
And and then, like, just state funding and
Yeah,
social security, and
yeah,
there's a lot of red tape. There's more to this subject than just what we've touched on. I mean, it is huge.
yeah,
And we can go on forever, but I have my
yeah.
last question for you.
Okay.
And it's the one that I ask everybody. If
All right.
you could leave the guests with one piece of lasting advice, and it could be about anything, but just something you've learned in your life, something you might have experienced, or just something that you want to express to the audience that is a lasting piece of advice, what would it be?
I guess something that I've been on lately. I just happiness is a choice. I feel like it's hard right now. It's difficult, and believe me, everybody thinks they're in this like singular boat and they only have an issue. No, everybody out here is struggling. Most people are struggling right now. But being stressed and then again, it's easier said than done. Being stressed, um, anxiety, getting anxiety and all of that stuff is not going to do anything but hinder and hurt you. And I just would advise, or just say, like, try to be happy. Try to look at the positive side of whatever situation is, even if it's or just the positive side of things in general. Like, man, I woke up this morning, cool. Like, you know what? I don't like my job, but I got a job. I'm going to work. You know what I mean? Just honestly, being happy is a choice, and you'll be way better off if you make the choice to be happy than you would if you make the choice to like stress and be angry all the time. Trust me.
Yeah, you can't get a blood out of a turnip, right?
Word,
You
exactly,
can't change
exactly.
the situation. So why
Yeah.
don't you tell everybody where we can find you, what your social media is? I mean, I posted it to the Cipher Knowledge page, but
Okay.
give it again.
Honestly, if you just go to my direct website, it's where my music is. It's www. It's Tygriff. It's Tygriff.com. I got the thing right here. www.itstygriff.com. All of my social
Is that
media is
it?
there, but most of my my back, yeah, that's first. No, two F's.
Two
Two
F's.
F's.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
fix it
Tygriff.
right now.
All right, cool. If yeah, most of my social media is backslash it's Tygriff. So if you write it's Tygriff or Tygriff, I'll probably pop up. So, but
And
all
on
of them, I got.
Instagram, it has Billy Has Autism, right? He has
Yeah, yeah, and I have the Billy Has Autism page, and it's literally at Billy Has Autism, and again, it's at Tygriff, at Billy Has Autism, backslash for Facebook, it's backslash Billy Has Autism, Tyquan Griffin. Twitter, it's Ty Griff. So I try to make it easy for people to find me. Everything is Ty Griff. Everything.
Ty Griff, my dude. KJ says, "What's up?"
KJ, what's good, man? My man KJ. I ain't seen KJ since I think I might have helped. KJ was a baby. He grown boy, about 10 years old now. What's up, KJ?
Listen, they go like my oldest is 27. I got 2 grandbabies and another one coming. So
my oldest is 2, and my youngest will be 1. My youngest will be 1 on the 17th. So I'm still.
I got grandbabies, but you know what? I love every minute of it. Wouldn't give it up for anything in the world. But listen, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
No,
and
thank
chatting.
You for having me.
No, please. Like, I mean, this is like I said, just so everybody knows really quick how this happened. I saw Ty's post about his Billy has autism, and we have a mutual friend, and I was like, "Yo, who's that dude? Hook me up with him." Like, you know him, and I was like, "I want him." Like,
and when he said, "Yeah," I mean, like, no joke. I've known him since like kindergarten. Like, dead serious. Yeah, no, seriously. Like, that's he know me. He know me. We went through school together. I've known him since kindergarten. Like, yeah.
You see, and I just look, and he made it happen. So thank you, Del, so much. I appreciate the connect. I love it. But you know, we can always chat it up. You know, come back, something else that's going on.
Yeah.
But you know, Billy's got a new series coming on and stuff. Like definitely,
it's coming. It's coming.
You subscribe to Ty. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe.
No, okay. You I subscribed to me a long time ago.
Okay. Thank you for commenting and joining. Yes, thank you for everyone who's watching and joining in the Cipher. You know, I'm gonna leave you with what I always end the show with is if all you've experienced is all you know, then you are in a deficit of knowledge. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm telling you. If you don't experience it, then you don't know it, and then that's why we gotta broaden our mind to and this is why I have you guys come on the show so that you could share your experience and your knowledge, and give that perspective to other people who maybe will never experience this. That's the whole point of this show. So thank you for coming on. Don't go anywhere, Ty. You stay right there. But you guys, we will catch you tomorrow, 8 p.m.
Tomorrow, 8 p.m.
I have my girl, Brandy Jade, coming on. She is the host of Voices of Courage, and we will actually be talking about bullying, school bullying. And has it gotten worse now that we have COVID and we got these cyber bullies? Yes. So we're definitely going to touch on that tomorrow, 8 p.m. live. So guys, again, thank you so much. One love.